Chicago Bears football is back, at least a little bit, as the offseason program is underway today. This man has a big speech to give to his team for the first time, as Ben Johnson and the players will all be at Halas Hall at the same time. Let's dive into it, and I've got some goals that I hope the Bears accomplish during the offseason program. I'm Harrison Graham. You're watching Chicago Bears Now, as the Bears are back at Halas Hall today. I saw Caleb Williams on Instagram put on a story back in Chicago. So players allowed to return to the building as teams with new head coaches are allowed to return to the building today. The NFL released the offseason dates last week, which we discussed about. And per the CBA, just kind of wanted to go through what the first couple of phases of the offseason program actually look like. Phase 1 consists of the first 2 weeks of the program with activities limited to meetings, strength and conditioning, and physical rehabilitation only. Phase 2 consists of the next 3 weeks of the program. On-field workouts may include individual or group instruction and drills, as well as, quote, perfect play drills, and drills and plays with offensive players lining up across from offensive players and defensive players lining up from defensive players conducted at a walkthrough pace. No live contact or team offense versus team defensive drills are permitted. So let's be clear here. This is phase 1, not OTAs or minicamp. There won't even be organized on-field activity. This is, group work in the weight room, classroom work, which is probably what is the most valuable for these first couple of weeks. And then, guys who have injuries can return, get the rehab going even further. Braxton Jones, other guys as well. So Andrew Billings potentially. So things like that. But you get everybody in the building at the same time. The coaches and players can have direct contact in an extensive manner, which was not the case before today. Now, this is the Bears offseason schedule. Players back today, like I mentioned. There will be a voluntary minicamp in a couple of weeks where they can do some on-field work. I think that classifies as phase 2. And then you've got your 3 OTA sessions in late May, early June, along with a mandatory minicamp in there as well. Rookie minicamp will either be the weekend after the draft or 2 weekends after. So TBA on when that's going to be. And then same with training camp as well. That'll likely start in late July and obviously run through most of August also. But Bears football is back. There's not going to be much downtime the rest of the way other than that gap between the end of OTAs and training camp. So we're going to have you covered every single day for what's happening at Halas Hall. Obviously, draft updates, any signings that could still occur. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and be sure to stay locked in here on Bears Now. All right, I kind of wanted to just go through 5 things I'm hoping the Bears can accomplish, especially in this initial phase here. Ben Johnson setting the tone. And, I think sometimes there's cliches, words get thrown out, establishing a culture. I think a lot of culture comes with just winning. Like we heard the last few years how great the culture was, but that fell apart last year because it was year 3 under Eberflus, and not only were they not winning, they were actually regressing. So that can kind of crumble pretty quickly. And Ben Johnson talked about at the owners' meetings that his first speech to the team is today. He said he would spend the weekend before preparing it, and it kind of sounds corny. Like, what is this, like, school project that you're presenting to the class? And in a lot of ways, it's like convince me that you can lead us if you're sitting in that in that auditorium, if you will, at Halas Hall. It's a tone setter. It's a setting the standard. I heard Lance Briggs talk about this probably a year ago now, either on CHGO or another podcast, that he remembers Mark Trestman's first speech, and he knew right away this was not going to work. So take it for a guy who played for this organization at a high level for a long time. Like, this stuff does matter. So it's important for Johnson and whoever else talks, I would imagine a couple assistants, to, set the bar high and do it with conviction starting today. Because let's face it, in whatever you're doing in life, you only get one chance at a first impression. Doesn't mean you can't make up for it later, but those first impressions, they really do matter. As someone who interviews people to come work for us all the time, if it's a poor first impression, decent chance you're not getting to that next interview. So that's just kind of how this thing works. Okay, then off of that, obviously Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson building a relationship. Obviously they've had some contact They met, of course, when Johnson came to do his introductory press conference. Caleb and a few of the other players were there. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet among them. But these two, this relationship, it's the most important one in the organization. They have to get going on the same page. They got to hit the ground running. Doesn't mean there won't be bumps in the road, but like building that trust, Ben challenging Caleb, Caleb challenging Ben, willing to push himself to a place he hasn't before with Ben's guidance and other coaches. It's just critical. Like this relationship has to work for this team to be successful. So that starts now, right away. So, and that's not just like the on the field, football stuff. It's just like getting along and just building that relationship like you and I would in real life. Okay, we got more to get to here, but today's show is sponsored by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. Remember that feeling of booting up your favorite game for the first time? Maybe you were a little kid, you got a Nintendo or something like that. The late night sessions, the epic wins, the sound of the lobby filling up with your friends. Gaming wasn't just something you did, it was a whole experience, and the right headset makes all of the difference. Turtle Beach is bringing that feeling back with the Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. It's like stepping into the golden age of gaming all over again, only this time the audio is richer, the surround sound is more immersive, and the battery lasts an insane 80 hours. No more crackling mics, no more missed callouts, just pure uninterrupted gaming, exactly the way you remember it, but even better. The 3D spatial audio has taken my gaming to the next level, especially in fast-paced games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, and it gets even better, folks. While being connected to your console, the Stealth 700 can connect with your phone for music, streaming, or taking calls all at the same time. Listen to your favorite songs while gaming with the Stealth 700 headset. Get one today at turtlebeach.com/chat. Use code chat for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off at turtlebeach.com/chat with promo code chat. Let us know that we sent you. Bears Now by Chat Sports. That helps support our show. And enjoy Turtle Beach today, the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach. Okay, offensive playbook install. Obviously, relationships, tone setting, and then obviously you want to dive into the X's and O's. Anytime you have a new coaching staff, you're starting over with your playbook. Sure, there might be some schematical overlaps and things from prior offenses or defenses you played in, but especially for this team right now, the offense building off Ben and Caleb building that relationship is let's get the playbook installation process started. I think having this extra 2 weeks, especially in the classroom, is huge just to kind of work through some concepts. Do you like this? Do you like that? Let's challenge you for these next level things. And that's not just with Caleb, that's with all these guys. Ben Johnson's talked about it multiple times. I'm going to adapt what we do offensively to the skill talent we have. And right now, I would say this is the core four of players. Obviously, I would imagine they add one or two more key guys to figure into the offense in the draft, especially a running back. But DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, how can you get the most out of these two guys? Because I felt like last year, especially with DJ, that was not accomplished. That was also true with Cole Kmet, who had a down year statistically and at times was just invisible in the offense under Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown. DeAndre Swift obviously was productive, but how can the Bears get more out of him, especially at a more efficient clip? All of this comes down to the offensive install. That's where it really, really starts. So, and listen, we've all been starving for a good offense for years. That's why they go and get the best offensive coach available and building that offense from the studs up, like Ben Johnson said. Again, that process, it really starts today. So that is going to be huge. Which skilled player do you think is going to be the most important for 2025? Maybe that player's not on the team yet. Let me know in the comment section below. Drop a name for who you think that is. Okay, obviously defense as well with installation, but also I think just bringing an aggressive and attack mode mentality from Dennis Allen. I think that's going to be important. Historically, his defenses play more man coverage, disguise looks, especially in the back end, a more aggressive mindset. That doesn't mean he's Brian Flores in terms of blitzing 50% of the time, but just being more in attack mode and confusing opposing teams and quarterbacks. Matt Eberflus, while at times the defense was very good and had a lot of success, it wasn't really built on an attack mentality. It was more built on all 11 people doing their jobs sound at the same time, which obviously you want in any defense. But when you play that kind of cover two, cover three, shell only bring four 80-90% of the time, everyone has to do their job really well, and you have to have really good personnel at all three levels. Otherwise, it breaks down against opposing good offenses, and against good teams, we kind of saw that consistently, right? Like against bad teams, the defense would feast. Against good teams, it kind of got exposed. That's why you got to be a little bit more aggressive and have that attack mentality. And I think Dennis Allen kind of bringing that from the beginning, just in a mentality, is going to be very, very important. And then lastly, with the players getting back in the building, some of these guys I'm sure have been hanging out some, but the last couple months really, guys are, they're on vacation with their family. They're catching up with non-football things in their life, traveling, doing those type of things. But listen, what was the word we heard a lot last year? Accountability, accountability. There's none of it from the coaching staff. And I think that was valid for players to bring up, but they have to be accountable too. They have to challenge themselves and their teammates too. It's up to Ben and the rest of the coaching staff to set a standard and to create an environment of accountability. But then the players have to do that too. And some players on this team have to emerge as those natural leaders to set their peers accountable and to make sure that happens. So I think that's going to be very important because at the end of the day, the coaches can only do so much. Like the players are the ones playing, executing plays, and they have to work together as a unit. But they have to, you can't be scared to get on one of your teammates if they're not meeting that standard. And look, it's early on in the offseason program, but if you're, what's the old phrase? If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. I think under a new staff and really trying to become a winning championship organization, like you need to have that type of mindset. Otherwise, guys could get weeded out. So it's going to be critical for these players just for themselves initially, but then with their peers to really bring in the right mindset and mentality to attack this thing from day one. All right, there you go. Some things I hope get accomplished over the next few weeks as the Bears offseason program gets underway. Any news and nuggets that emerge, we will have covered as well. If you're excited to have Bears football back, go ahead and type me. We'll be back later today. If we hear anything from Halas Hall, we will pass that along. We'll have some other news and notes and draft updates as we're just about 2.5 weeks away from the NFL draft. So lots coming this afternoon. Turn on those notifications so you know exactly when we go live. Should be around 4 o'clock Central or so. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.